Let's talk telescopes. My name is Daniel, you are watching Exo Photography. In this episode, we can call it part 3 in getting started in astrophotography. I want to cover what kinds of telescopes there is, what to look for when you possibly are going to buy your first telescope. So yeah. In part 2 we covered how the mount is working. I took out the same gear as in that video, but this time we're going to concentrate on this, the telescope. So this is a Meade Series 5000 102mm refractor. Basically this is what you're thinking of when you first heard the word telescope. So it's a classic lens telescope. It consists of glass lenses in an array inside the tube. So you can see here it's just an ordinary piece of glass, basically. The light comes in from here and gets focused through the lenses and exits here. To be able to cover a more ergonomic position to look at, you are using one of these. It's a diagonal. It's a 90-degree mirror, which you mount in the back side of the telescope. When you've done that, you can just focus the stars or the moon or whatever object to get it in focus like this. These telescopes are quite handy. It's very easy to mount. It weighs, I don't know, maybe 9-10 kilos something, or possibly even less. So this is a f7. The focus ratio is f7. Its native focal length is about 750 millimeters. To begin with, I would not go higher than 102 millimeters. I would probably recommend beginning with an 80 millimeter refractor. So if you are sitting down, you're googling around, looking for refractors, you might see the name achromatic or apochromatic or ED lenses, or, well, the thing is, it's a different kind of glass, or the coating of the glass lenses that are being used in the telescopes. So for visual use, you can get away with a lower end refractor, but if you want to take photos through a refractor, you possibly want a ED refractor or an apochromatic. This is a 3-lens APU apochromatic. So these guys ranges from 50 millimeters in diameter up to 200 millimeters. Those are the big bad boys, hugely expensive anyway, but yeah, up to 200 millimeters. If you start with a 80 millimeters refractor, you can get away with a couple of $100. Easy to use, easy to carry, easy to set up, not that expensive. I like them. So what about the view through these ones? Well, I actually prefer looking through a refractor, mainly because the image is more crisp, I believe. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but when looking at double stars, star clusters, I really enjoy the view in a refractor. It's just such a crisp image. This is a telescope type which is called a Schmidt Cassegrain. It actually consists of, in regard to this, which is based on glass lenses, this is based on mirrors inside. So the light enters here. It bounces on a mirror in the back here. It bounces back on a secondary mirror which is mounted here, and then it comes out in the back here. So because of the light bounces back and forth several times, the focal length of these telescopes is quite high. So the diameter of this telescope is 9.25 inches, and the native focal length of this one is 2350 millimeters. So this costs a little more than a standard telescope. I really enjoyed watching planets with these kinds of telescopes. Because of the longer focal length, you get a higher magnification. You also get a quite bigger contrast because of the focal ratio, which is native f10 on this one. But because of the longer focal length, it is also more demanding to star jump or just to find objects without a computer-guided mount. For planets or really small deep sky objects, this one is awesome. Bigger targets, open star clusters, double stars, whatever, for me is the refractor. I should also mention that these kinds of telescopes weigh a bit more, so you might want a sturdier mount. You can see this mount here is a Skywatcher AZ4, and this is barely on the brink of what this mount is capable of. You can see it vibrates, so yeah, this is just on the brink of what this mount is capable of. There is also a third kind of telescopes which is quite popular to begin with, and that is a classic Newtonian telescope, and you can also hear it like a Dobsonian. The difference between a Newtonian and Dobsonian is actually the way it's mounted on a mount. So the Newtonian telescope consists of mirrors, just like the Schmidt Cassegrain, but instead of the last bounce, which has the light path come out in the back, it bounces on the main mirror in the bottom, and on the secondary mirror it's mounted in 90 degrees, so it bounces out the light at the side of the telescope, and you are going to watch through the eyepiece or attach the camera at the very top of the telescope. So the Newtonian is it's in between regard to both focal length and focal ratio. The Newtonian telescopes is more or less the faster telescope in the concern of the focal ratio. It's quite normal to have a Newtonian which has a focal ratio of 4 or 5. The Newtonian telescope is possibly the best telescope to watch regular deep sky objects, nebulas, galaxies, which is quite dim and also quite large, which cover a quite big area of the sky. So the Schmidt Cassegrain great for high magnification planets, refractors, huge objects, open star clusters, stars in general, and the Newtonian to large nebulas and galaxies, basically. And the telescope I was first using when starting astrophotography was this one, refractor. Very easy to start out with. I also tried photographing with the Schmidt Cassegrain, but I wasn't very comfortable doing that. I believe the images had some kind of dim feel about them. It wasn't just my cup of tea. But now in the observatory, I have all my camera gear mounted to my astrograph. An astrograph is basically a Newtonian with a corrector lens on it. So that's a brief introduction to different kinds of telescopes. So we have the refractor, the Schmidt Cassegrain, and also the Newtonian or a Dobson. If you have any questions regarding telescopes, what to start off with, just hit a comment below. Please subscribe and like the videos if you like them, of course. And we will see you later. Bye.